The open world genre has always been one of the most crowded in the gaming industry. The best ones carved out a space for themselves with unique elements like the absurdity of Saints Row or the balance of a game like GTA. Mafia was always that one open world game that focused heavily on story. Mafia 2 is one of the best stories that an open world game has ever put forward and is still extremely high on my list of the best in the genre. While Mafia 3 definitely has its problems, the design focus helps to offset some of those weaknesses and deliver a satisfying open world crime game. The story itself is fairly cliche. Much like the character from the second one, Lincoln Clay is returning from his tour in Vietnam. Lincoln's adoptive father is a gangster and runs part of the city. He owes his crime boss money, and Lincoln gets pulled into a heist in order to square up the deal between them. The heist, of course, goes wrong, and your family is murdered, while you yourself are left for dead. Unfortunately, you survive, and you're hell-bent on getting revenge and destroying Sal Marcone's crime family. Much like previous Mafia games, I wanted to continue to see the story, and that's what pulled me mostly through the game. But that's not to say the gameplay is bad, because it isn't. What we have here is a very competent and fun third-person action game. The gunplay feels great, although the auto-aim can feel a bit weird at times. I had it set low for most of the game, but I had to turn it off entirely due to just not feeling right. It would pull my aim away from targets, and it fought against me from time to time. The guns feel powerful, and they do damage. I played on hard my entire way through, and while I wouldn't say the game was necessarily difficult, if you got surrounded or made a dumb decision, a shotgun would end your life pretty quickly. I did die quite a bit, but most of it was just bad play on my part, not due to any game issues. The driving is a decent balance between being realistic and arcadey. At high speed, cars control as you'd expect, but every car in the game does seem to have a heavy pedal. I don't think I found one vehicle in the game that doesn't spin when you start to drive. Really, the only way to avoid this is to slowly accelerate, but I don't understand why it just doesn't automatically do this like every other game. It caused me to get shot while I was driving away a lot because I would just sit there and spin my tires. I mean, it's not a big deal, it's just a slight aggravation. I found it weird. And I'm not a huge fan of driving and racing in games as it is, so this was one of those things that I felt was a weird design choice, and just something I figured I'd mention. The meat of the gameplay is centered around taking districts. Each district has 2 informants that give you information which unlock missions within the district. These things range from things like rescuing prostitutes, disrupting airdrops. After you cause enough damage to the district, you draw out 2 lower level people who you then kill. This also draws out the main target, who also has his own mission that you must complete in order to kill. The issue with most of these is they feel exactly the same. It's kind of the issue with most of the game, to be honest. It is very repetitive after about 10 hours. I enjoyed my time through the whole game, but the end did start to wear out as welcome. I wanted to see the conclusion, and that was the main reason I pushed on to the finish line. Taking over these districts influences your upgrades. You have 3 different people that you can give districts to, and each of them give you different bonuses. Other than a few like the health and new weapons, most of these upgrades are completely negligible. They really don't have any noticeable effect on your character. It says you get increased accuracy, but I felt like it didn't make any difference because as long as you have decent aim, you're fairly accurate as it is. The upgrade system definitely could have used some more work to make it more worthwhile. The game looks and sounds fantastic most of the time. During the cutscenes, it is probably one of the best looking games out there right now. I loved it. I thought the animations, the voice acting, the lip syncing, everything was great. It was top notch when it came to the cutscenes. During gameplay, however, there are a few issues. It's nothing really bad, but there is some clipping and some texture pop in, and it can be slightly distracting. The sky has a couple really weird instances where it'll flash colors and it'll change, and it looked really weird. The soundtrack, however, is fantastic. Loved every music choice that they made in this game. Some of the best moments of the game have a direct correlation to the music they pick. The set pieces they're absolutely perfect with the music. All in all, I had fun with the game. I can give it a recommendation if you're looking for a solid open world game to sink some time in. The game took me about 30 hours to get through, and I was happy with what I did, but I had maybe another 10 to 20 hours of things I could do before I would say that I was fully done with the game. I'm going to have to give Mafia an 8 out of 10. It's not quite as good as Mafia 2, but it does enough that it makes it a worthy addition to your collection, and you can't feel bad about buying it. Hey, look at that, guys. I actually got a review out within a week of a game coming out. It's quite amazing, right? I actually put some effort into getting this one out because I want to get this shit going. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Have yourselves a great day, and I will see you all in the next episode. Later.